This is a calming yin class to help soothe, relax, and calm your central nervous system. Hi, beautiful yogis. This is a calming and soothing yin class. So we're really looking at calming our nervous system right down. So for most of the day, we tend to be in the sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight part of your nervous system, and it's very intense. But what we want to do with this practice is shift us into a parasympathetic state. So moving into the parasympathetic nervous system, and that's your rest and digest part of your nervous system. So as it says, rest and digest, this is when we can fully be at rest. We can digest not only kind of physically, but also mentally and emotionally, whatever's happened during the day or the week or our experiences in life. So it's very, very important to take us into this parasympathetic nervous system state so that we really can process, digest, and also kind of release what we don't need to hold on to. So for this practice, you might want to have a block or a cushion. You might want to have some blankets, some towels, anything really that's going to give you a little bit of support in the poses. Now, we are going to be resting the head on a block. So if you don't have a block, have a cushion. We can also use the hands. Alternatively, you could also use like a little stack of books. So it's about the size of a brick. That's kind of the size that you want. And like I said, we can make some adjustments, use some different props, but I'll tell you about that as we go along. So I'm going to start seated, but I really invite you to become as comfortable as you can. Now that may be laying down for you. For a lot of people, lying down is just the most relaxed way to kind of start a class. And I want you to be really relaxed. So lay down. If you're a little chilly, cover yourself with a blanket, and you can sit on a chair if that feels good. Otherwise, just find your most comfortable position. Maybe it's seated on the mat, and just find that you can take a few moments to settle. Now I'm going to take Bu Mudra, which is a grounding mudra. Bu Mudra means earth gesture, and this can also help us just to settle, especially if we are kind of all up in the head, a bit flighty, busy day. Like I said, we want to bring our body into that more calm, soft, kind of relaxed state, which also helps us to move into a state if we want to sleep. It also helps us get really good deep rest. Maybe it's a good night's sleep. So a whole lot of goodness. So like I said, get yourself comfortable. Place your body however it feels nice. And then for Bu Mudra, we stretch out the hands, we take the thumbs into the palms, we take the ring fingers into the palms and the little fingers into the palms. So you have your first or index fingers and middle fingers sticking out. The rest of the fingers just pull into the palms of the hands. And then you point your fingertips, so first and middle finger tips down towards the earth. So you can touch the earth. If you're lying down, you can just have the hands resting alongside the body. So just place the hands how it feels good. If this doesn't feel good, just relax the hands. Like I said, I want you to come to a place where you feel really relaxed. So eyes can be open or closed. From here, take a big breath in through the nose. Kind of puff up the chest. Stretch out the shoulders even with that breath. And as you exhale out through the mouth or the nose, just let go, physically, mentally, emotionally let go. A couple more breaths like that. Inhaling deeply, feeling the body stretching a little bit, opening up. Deep, long exhale. And one more breath like that. Really soften the shoulders, sink the sit bones, sink and be heavy through the legs and the feet, whether you're lying down or sitting. Beautiful. And the eyes can stay closed. We're just going to take a few moments here, just tracking the journey of the breath. So as you inhale, feel the breath move in through the nostrils. Feel it, or maybe hear it move down through the throat, filling up the lungs, maybe even the belly puffs up. And then as you exhale, again, trace that journey back again. The belly will pull in, the rib cage, the lungs are going to pull back into the center line. You may hear or feel the breath moving out through the throat and through the nose. And just continue tracking the journey of the breath. Nose, throat, lungs, belly, lungs, throat and nose on the exhale. Just continue on. We'll take a few more rounds here. Using the breath to help center, bring focus, bring stillness. One more breath. And as your exhalation ends, slowly blink the eyes open if they were closed. And we're going to come to our first yin pose. It's going to be a Sphinx pose. And this is where we're going to support the head so that we can really help to relax the body and relax the mind. So I'm going to use a yogi block. You can have a rolled up towel or a blanket. You can have a cushion, it's like I said, a stack of books, or you can just use the hands, or alternatively, nothing at all. So if you're sitting, if you're lying down, wherever you are, just feel that you can come to rest down onto the belly. So stretch the feet out long, legs out long. Maybe there's a gap between the feet. You can rock the hips. Toes can be tucked or feet can be flat. And if you have lower back issues, then maybe you want to be just completely resting down on the belly. That hands can support the forehead. Maybe that's enough for you. This is going to be a back bend, so just check if it feels okay for your lower back. If it feels okay, you can come upright, placing the elbows, whether that's quite a bit forward of the shoulders or more kind of in the line of the shoulders, coming up to your Sphinx pose. Of course, you could always have some support under the elbows, but I want to keep the Sphinx pose relatively soft. Back bends tend to be a little more stimulating, so we want to keep this as soft as possible because we're wanting to move into that more soothing state. Now, even though this is a back bend, it is great for the kidneys. The kidneys is where we hold a lot of fear, according to traditional Chinese medicine. So that's why this pose is a nice way just to stimulate the kidneys and help to release some of that fear that we hold there. Now, you could stay upright like this. I'm going to use my block under my third eye point. So the third eye point between the eyebrows, a little bit above, that's the third eye point, or yin tang. And I'm going to support that spot. So that place between the eyebrows, a little bit above that third eye point, or that yin tang point, I'm going to have resting on my support. And this is a beautiful point. This kind of an acupressure point here. And it's a beautiful point to press into to help with things like insomnia. It really helps to calm the systems of the body and bring our mind to more of a place of rest. So I'm going to use a block. You could also have your hands kind of stacked up so that your forehead rests onto the hands. You could also have the head straight down onto the mat, but like I said, I'm going to use the block. Just rest my head. You could always heighten up. You could bring another block underneath or a cushion, make that a little higher if you need to for your neck. So just taking your time to move into the Sphinx pose with the support under the forehead. And if you are using the support, really allow the head to be heavy. Once you get into this position, you're kind of probably still using the neck muscles to kind of lift the head up, but soften the neck muscles, sink the shoulder area. Check the elbows aren't behind the line of the shoulders, because that will be quite stressful on the shoulders. So move the elbows forwards. Take a big breath in and take a really big long breath out, maybe shaking out the jaw, maybe even shaking the hips. Sink the shoulders. Again, soften the whole of the face, the cheeks, the jaw. Allow the head to be really heavy. And if this doesn't work for you, then just take the block away, adjust as you need to. And we're going to come back to that breath, that inhaling through the nose, throat, lungs and the belly. Exhaling, belly gently draws in, lungs draw in. Feel the breath releasing through the throat and the nose. Using this breath, like I said, to help center, to help soothe. Bringing us into that parasympathetic state where we can fully rest, fully digest and process. Bringing a sense of quietness, of peace, of deep rest. Maybe getting us ready to sleep. Otherwise, just taking a break from the intensity of the day, taking us to a place where we can relax. Keep following the journey of the breath. Keeping the head heavy, face soft, neck soft, shoulders soft. Take the last few moments here. One last breath. And maybe that exhales out through the mouth, big sigh, releasing some of that deep held tension in the body and the mind. And then slowly just starting to lift the head up off your support. Move slow. Just as we move slow to come into the pose, slowly release out of the pose. And maybe come to lie down onto the belly, flat. If it doesn't feel good, then support the head. Maybe you want to wiggle the hips. And then with the next breath, we'll slowly start to move. So you can tuck the toes, plant the hands under the shoulders. We're going to slowly start to lift up. Maybe wiggling the hips as you move the knees forwards. Maybe you want to have a wiggle here. You could take some cat-cows, or I like to swing my hips from side to side. Maybe taking a moment to sit. And then we're going to come straight into a child's pose. So if child's pose doesn't work, I'll show you an alternative in a moment. Again, you might want to have your block handy to rest that yin tang, that third eye point on. It is, like I said, it's such a powerfully kind of soothing and calming point. You feel the heart rate start to slow, the blood pressure start to lower. It's just so nice to calm and ease the mind. So if that was working for you, then use your block, or again your hands underneath of your third eye point. So for child's pose, you have the feet together, the knees together. You can have padding under the ankles, padding even under the sit bones. Maybe that's a bit nicer for the knees. Like I said, I'll show an alternative in a moment. And then just coming forwards. Now, if this child's pose with the knees together doesn't work, then just feel free to take a wide knee child's pose. It's also an option. Somewhere in between, whatever feels good. And then coming down. So of course you could just take your traditional child's pose with the forehead towards the ground. You could support the forehead with the hands. Sometimes that's nice for the shoulders. Of course you could have the arms outstretched. Or use that support under the forehead, under that third eye point, that yin tang point. Just adjust the block to whatever height you need, or your support. Just the arms so the shoulders can relax. Take a big breath in, and a big breath out. So if this feels good, stay here. Alternatively, if that's not working for the ankles, the knees, hips, or any other part of the body, then you're going to take a seated child's pose. So again, you can have your feet and legs together. You can have your feet and legs a little bit apart, whatever feels good. This is just taking the pressure off the ankles and the knees and even the hips. But we still have that rolling forwards, that kind of rounding of the spine. So whether you just want to kind of be resting onto the legs, you can still have that yin tang point supported. Whether you want to be hanging between the legs, just find your place where you can rest, your variation of child's pose. And again, feel that you can continue observing that journey, the breath moving in through the nose, throat, lungs, puffing up the belly. Exhale, we feel the belly release. The lungs Contract softly, the breath moving out of the throat and out of the nose. Each breath just washing away tension. Each breath helping to soothe the body and the mind. Each breath taking you to a place where you feel more ease and softness. Child's pose is a beautiful pose to help us move from the external to the internal. So rather than the distractions, when we're folding forwards, we don't notice the distractions as much. Maybe with the eyes closed, the senses start to become a little less busy, more quiet. You can focus on the breath, feel the body. Notice any changes that are occurring in body and mind. I'm going to take one more breath here. Again, maybe that long sigh out through the nose or the mouth. And slowly starting to lift up. If you're in your seated child's pose, just start to lift the head, lengthen the spine. If you're in your more regular child's pose, just do the same. Lift the head, lengthen the spine. Feel what's nice, maybe keeping the eyes closed and just feel what your body wants, needs rather. Maybe it's a twist, maybe it's just enjoying that stillness. And then we're going to continue with our 4 bends, coming into a caterpillar pose. So we want to stretch the legs out in front of the body. Again, we can still keep the support for under our forehead as we lean forwards. Now in this caterpillar pose, you can have the knees bent and some support underneath of the knees. You can have your blocks, rolled up towel or blanket. You can have the legs out straight. You can feel if you want to maybe move the sit bones back. You could also sit on a little bit of height. A little bit or a lot. If you've got a lot of height under the sit bones, and put some extra height and padding underneath of the knees. Get your support ready. Feel that you can relax the legs. Muscles should be really nice and soft up in the thighs. Kneecaps should be able to move. Doesn't matter which way the feet are turning in and coming forward. So again, if the back is a little sensitive, then just move to a point that feels good. Sometimes if the knee's bent, it feels better and we can keep a straightness through the spine. You can still stimulate that yin tang point with the aid of your support in your hands. Alternatively, if the body feels okay, you can roll down. Just adjust your support, take your time. You're finding that sweet spot. So once you kind of feel that you can relax, take a big breath in. Long deep breath out. And that sweet spot is that place where you feel a little bit of a pull. But it's only a little bit, and then with the body feeling a little bit of that kind of stretch or that little bit of tension, you can still relax into that. If there's too much tension, then you're in too deep. You need to come out of the pose a little bit. If it feels that there's a bit more room, you could dive deeper into the pose, but by becoming a bit more quiet and the body and the mind, you can feel what you need. The breath is also a really good indicator. If you're really struggling to breathe, if you're kind of really having a hard time breathing, you're probably in the pose too deep. So again, ease out, use support, soften into it. You're finding, like I said, that sweet spot where you've got that little tiny bit of tension and pull, but only enough that you can still relax the muscular body. So like I mentioned earlier, in these forward folds, we're really helping to stimulate that parasympathetic nervous system, take us into that more relaxed and soft state. Helping to ease away and soothe tension from both the body and the mind. This forward bend, we're gently massaging the internal organs, stretching out the spinal column. And again, that little stretch into the kidneys, just helping to release fear. Make sure there's a softness around the face. Again, allow the head to be really heavy, fully supported by the block or the props that you have. And still following the journey of the breath. Nose, throat, lungs and belly. On the exhale, belly, lungs, throat and nose. Let's take one more breath. And slowly start to lift up, rolling up through the spine. Maybe rolling the shoulders back. If you want to stretch out the front body, then lean back. Lift up the heart, the head. Have a wiggle or a shimmy. And then from here, just remove the support. And we're going to come to rest down onto the back of the body. So if you want to swing the legs around, then do. Otherwise you can come and rest down and take a moment just to roll the knees from side to side. If you want to pull the knees into the chest, then do. Beautiful. We're going to take a Balanasana. So this is a really, again, a very soothing pose. So I'm going to come to the left side of the mat, stretch the legs out long, and have the arms up above the head if that works for you. If it doesn't work for the shoulders, just have the arms resting down. Keep your hips where they are. Slide your feet to the right corner of the mat or even further. Hips stay there. And then move your upper body to the right as well. So we're stretching at the left side of the body. Like I said, the arms can be up above the head. You can have support underneath of the elbows if that feels good. If you want to cross the left ankle over the right, then do. But again, you're coming to find that sweet spot. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. And as we're compressing the right side here, feel the breath traveling down that left side. Moving through the nose, through the throat, expanding the left side of the lungs, left side of the belly, and traveling out with the exhale. And the belly gently draws in, left side of the lungs draw in. Feel or hear the breath moving out through the throat and the nose. Let's continue observing the journey of the breath. As we expand and stretch out that left side of the rib cage, creates a lot more room for the breath to flow in and out of the lungs. And deeper the breath, again, the easier it is to move into that parasympathetic nervous state of rest and digest. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And whenever you finish your 3rd exhale, slowly start to bring the body to more of a straight line, releasing the feet and the legs, arms, the shoulders, the spine. Whether you're just going to lay here still or bend the knees up to release the lower back. Again, you could rock the knees from side to side. Pull the knees into the chest. And then we're going to take that Bandhanasana, that banana pose on the other side. So move to the right side of the mat, straight through the legs, long through the body from the toes to the tip of the head. Have the arms up above the head if you wish, supported under the arms or the shoulders. And then just moving your feet to the left side of the mat or even beyond, but keep your hips where they are, anchored onto the right side of the mat. That creates this big side bend. Press down so you can move the head to the left, the shoulders, the ribcage to the left. So you feel this big stretch along the right side and compression through the left side. So you're in like a half moon pose. Again, the hands can be down, one arm up, both arms up. Take your time to settle. Cross the right ankle over the left if you wish, but you're finding that sweet spot. Eyes, nose to the sky. Big breath in. Big breath out. Feeling that right side of the body receiving even more breath, more oxygen into the body as we take these longer, deeper breaths, helping to nourish the internal organs. Longer, deeper breaths, releasing carbon dioxide, the toxins, the waste from the body. Also using the exhale to release any toxins or waste from the mind, letting go. Following the journey of the breath in through the nose, flowing down through the throat, expanding the lungs and the belly. Exhale, the belly releases. The lungs release the breath out through the throat and out through the nose. Check the face is relaxed, the tongue, the jaw, the neck, the shoulders, arms and the hands. Check the belly is soft, and the leg muscles, feet and the toes. Take about another 3 breaths. Again, just when you finish your exhale, start to slowly release the legs, the arms, the spine, staying straight or bending up the knees, rocking the knees if it feels nice, or pulling the knees into the chest. And then it's Shavasana, so whether that's with your feet on the ground, knees bent, maybe you want to have some support underneath of your knees just to soften the lower back space, the hips and the legs. You can stretch the legs out, place the hands where it feels good. Take a big breath in, and a big breath out. Staying connected to the body, to the breath, enjoying that peace, that relaxed state. And then finding your way back to connect to that journey of the breath, inhaling, feeling the breath moves through the nose, the throat, feeling the lungs expand, the belly expand. Exhaling, belly softens, lungs soften. Trace the journey, moving out through the throat and out through the nose. Start to move the physical body again. If stretching sounds good, then join me with a big long stretch with a big breath in. And exhale to bring the feet to the mat and the hands alongside the hips. You can rock the knees or pull the knees into the chest. If you're pregnant, roll to the left. If you're not pregnant, you could roll to the right or to the left. I'm just rolling towards the sun. Take a breath on the side body. And then inhaling to lift up. Coming to find your seat. Again, however it feels good, however it feels comfortable. Taking a moment here just to get yourself settled. Long through the spine, soft through the body. And with your next breath in, let's reach the hands up to the sky. Big breath in. Exhale to bring the hands down to rest at the heart. Inhale as you lift your heart. Exhale as you bow your head down, honoring your heart. It's wisdom, it's beauty. Releasing the hands back to the legs, slowly lifting the head and blinking the eyes open. And namaste. So everybody, for yogis, I hope you enjoyed that yin practice, that kind of calming and soothing practice. If you are getting yourself ready for bed, move as slowly and as little as possible. And if you're moving on into your day, then take a few moments just embracing that quietness. And I wish you a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you for watching the YouTube channel of Anita Smith Yoga. AnitaSmithYoga.com is your online guide to yoga and wellness with practices that are safe, accessible and informative and are filmed in beautiful New Zealand. On the website you will find the practice you need. We offer various styles of yoga, qigong, meditation and more. Or choose a focus, for example, a class to strengthen your back, or a class to help you rest and restore, or maybe a class to help boost your energy. Classes range from 2 minutes to over an hour. We also guide you through your yoga journey with weekly class suggestions, monthly themes, and wellness programs. Head over to AnitaSmithYoga.com and start your free trial. When you sign up, you get immediate unlimited access to our library of advert-free videos. So go on and join our community of yogis from around the world. Go to AnitaSmithYoga.com and start your free trial now.